Chord. All right, so this is copywriting and branding. This is actually a chapter, I've realized. So the kind of work that we do here is actually applicable to all three user funnels, to the employee, to the guest, and also to the partner user funnels. So in that way, the actual work here is actually pretty exciting. Let's go ahead and take a look at our let's take a look at our development paper, and let's dive into it. Right. So one sort of thing I want to remind everybody about is this. Right. There's this idea of a complete cycle, right? And we want to keep this in mind when we are doing this. So typically, we get good here at Bukit Vista at developing tools. We say, oh yeah, we should have guidelines to do something. We need to make sure that we're doing this right. But the other two parts are the things that we really don't think about what happens after, right? Which is the adoption and the inspection, right? So how do we actually make sure that once we've written guidelines, these are generally adopted? And then how do we then make sure we inspect and double check if everybody is actually following the guidelines, right? So let's go over to Gani to see how strong our strategic understanding is. Gani, what do we do as part of the work in this chapter to inspect and make sure that the tools are being used the correct way?
Okay, so one of the example, I believe it's already written in the paper, sir. So basically, we do have a evaluation of the let's call it the materials of the content that we have been used. For example, yesterday, I believe Mas Bayu and you already used the template of the presentation, right? So we have to do the apa namanya inspection. Is this already consistent or not? Is this already following the brand or not? Then one of the example like that. So, and
Okay.
also, yeah, for example like that. Yeah.
Okay. Let's thank you, Gani. So that's one way that we inspect. And is that inspection actually inspecting if we're using the tool, or is that inspection to make the tool better?
I believe to make the tools better, sir.
Okay. All right. Let's go over to Victoria. Victoria, what activity do we do as part of the work in this chapter that is an activity of inspection?
I think the what is it called? The off brand and top brand shirt that we always inspect every week. So I think yeah, that's part of inspection too.
Yeah. Okay. Very good, Victoria. So, Eric, check it out. This particular exercise that we do once a week, where we go and we collect off-brand and on-brand examples. This right here, all right, two pieces of off-brand, two pieces of on-brand. That is actually part of our regular inspection cycle. So that is what we go where we go out and we check what has been created, and we then compare it against the guidelines to see does it actually follow the guidelines. Now, here's something you might think about when you add new people into this particular chapter, right? So think about what the work of a chapter is to create a consistent type of skill, consistent set of practices that are helpful for achieving our SLAs, right? So let's say we have some new people come in. You could actually have, as part of their trial program, find 20 pieces of content, right? And find if they're off brand, 10 pieces of on brand, 10 pieces of off brand, right? And do this for 3 days, right? So find 10 pieces on brand, 10 pieces off brand, day one, 10 pieces on brand, 10 pieces off brand, day two. So by the end of 3 days, they'll have found like about 60 pieces of content, right? And they'll have been looking through and understanding the guidelines. Though within, let's say, 3 days, somebody would have practiced using 60 unique pieces of content if and understand the guidelines, right? So this is essentially how we drive two things. We drive the inspection, but we also drive the adoption. Okay. So how do we make sure that these guidelines are real? Well, people need to practice using them. If people don't practice using the guidelines, then we just build it once and we kind of forget about it. But this is the process by which we actually create the inspection process. Okay. And it's through this inspection that we do another inspection. We actually inspect and ask ourselves, have the guidelines been written correctly? Are the guidelines actually complete? Are they comprehensive? Do they actually help people achieve the goals for branding, copywriting, for SLAs, for all these particular purposes. Okay, so this is just a big picture overview for what we're doing, and I just want to give that quick orientation, right? So we see the bigger picture, we see the strategic point. Let's go to Jesslyn real quick. Jesslyn, what other methods do we use within this chapter that are useful for adoption? How do we actually promote people to adopt these particular sets of guidelines in their work?
I think it's, for me at least, it's by people recommending me to check out the brand book before I post anything. So they kind of give me or refer to this content before you make anything to make sure that the things that you publish are actually in line with what we have said before.
Excellent, excellent. This is actually really, really important, Jesselyn, right? Who told you to check out the brand book before you posted something?
Mas Gani.
All right, very good. And Gani, should we actually go and explain to a new person what they should do, or should we direct them to the guidelines and brand book?
I believe right now HR building the one source of documentation, right? So that
Mhm.
every new interns should be read it all of through. So I
Mhm.
believe instead of telling them one by one, it's better if we put it on the documentation as
Mhm.
part of the learning material.
Right. And what is the difference, let's say, by telling somebody? Is telling somebody what to do part of our core values, or does it sort of drop the core value?
Yeah, that's drop of the core values.
Right. If we tell somebody what to do, it's not really helping others to help themselves. It's just kind of, dependency. And what's wrong with this is actually something we noticed yesterday too as well. We had a different discussion in the sales chapter, and a similar kind of work what we're doing in sales as well. We're looking for what are the best practices in sales and what are the guidelines to be able to persuade and negotiate, and are those guidelines actually being followed, right? So one of the things we noticed in our discussion there was, who do we actually bring into the team and what are the expectations? Let's see. All right. What are the expectations for what new talent should be able to do in the chapter, right? What are our expectations of actually, this is such a good topic. I would like to actually just bring this over and put it right here real quick, right? Because I think there's a rich amount of discussion should be here, right? What are the expectations we have for new talent, and what expectations should we have of people who are more senior? So, I think just earlier, if I may, could I ask Jesslyn, would you be kind enough to be our secretary for today, so we can establish some understandings while we build this chapter together? Yeah. So let's put down what Gani had just said, right? What I think you had also mentioned, which is when a new person comes in the chapter, we should refer them to read the guidelines. Yeah, and I think we can put that here in the discussion. Jesselyn, do you have access to this document? Let me throw that into the link over on this side. Okay, so you have access to it through the chat. Okay, so what expectations more should we have for new people who come into this chapter? Let's go to Victoria.
Yeah, I think we should at least know what is our brand, our main brand, sir. Like the
Mm,
basic one, like maybe the fonts, and the graphics. So because I think all of the chapter, in the end they will create a design. So whether they will post it on LinkedIn or Instagram or maybe on website, and I think at least they should read the brand book first to know the basic guidelines of our brand.
Understood. Okay, let's go ahead, Jesselyn, and put that in, right? So, Jesselyn, we expect that all new people should refer to the guidelines and all people should read the brand book before they start their creative enterprise. Okay, and let's say somebody doesn't know something, Victoria, what is the best reference that we have for them? Should we tell them direct what they should do, or should we do something else?
I think it's related to our what is it called? Our daily journal, sir, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Mhm.
So I think for the marketing intern at the first place, we were given like like we always have like list of documents that we should read beforehand, right? So for the marketing, we also have the brand book as the one of the document that we should read before. But
Mm,
I think the problem here is the other intern, they don't have to they don't know that that brand book exists, that
right,
uh it doesn't listed in the documents that they should read beforehand. So I
right.
think they should if it's possible, I think we can also add the brand book to the list that of document that they should read before.
Correct, correct. So what you have actually noticed is this, Victoria. So we have what is called a marketing chapter, but a chapter is not the most correct way to denote the group of people who are working on things that are raising awareness. Awareness is a chapter, right? So if you think about, let's say, marketing and advocacy are pretty closely related, right? They're sort of like, the initial and the end communications, right, from a particular user. So, somebody first becomes knowledgeable about Bukit Vista, and then they start advocating about Bukit Vista. So these two categories are somewhat um, relational, right? Like kind of like like independent. But we also need to remember that there's guest squads, partner squads, and employee squads that all employ communications and branding, copywriting involved in their awareness and advocacy efforts, right? So in those particular groups, those groups need to come and also study this, right, and be part of the same type of journey. So Victoria, what you just mentioned is actually correct. The marketing chapter are all the people who actually create content for awareness, right, and advocacy. So that is what essentially should be consistent across all three user funnels, not just have like a different sort of voice according to each particular user funnel. Or if we do, let's make sure that that's intentional rather than just because we didn't really think about it. Okay, so this part is good. Let's talk about references, right? So if, let's say, a senior person, what is the expectation that we should have of more senior people here? How should people who are senior mentor and train and develop people who are new to this chapter? Let's go to Gani. What do you think, Gani, is the best way to create the right environment for that seniors should create for new people?
I think just build the culture of by reading and checking of the documentation. For
Mm,
example, I will tagging someone in Trello card that
mhm,
okay, please study and observe this card
mhm.
before we jump into the execution. For example, like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good. Here's probably a quick way that we can double check to make sure that a question. Now we don't want to be we don't want to be closed minded either, everybody, right? We don't want to like say if a new person asks a senior person questions, we just tell them, oh, just check the documentation, right? So I think it can be well regulated, perhaps like this. So we say, hey, look, check the guidelines first, and any question that you have should be, I looked for this in the guidelines, but it wasn't found, or I look for this in the guidelines and this seems to conflict with another idea that we're doing, right? So it's a little bit like the law. Every discussion we have should be somehow related to the guidelines, not related to just open questions. Because if we start asking open questions, then we start creating, let's say, new interpretations. If we create new interpretations, maybe we start going a little bit off brand. And that might be good for some creative work, but it also introduces some chaos. So let's say for now, let's just stick to the guidelines, right? And any question, anything will be in reference to the guidelines, right? So it could be, this hasn't been written in the guidelines, we need to put it in. Or these two guidelines seem to contradict each other, which one should I use, right? So those become good questions, right? And questions that just like, I haven't checked the guideline yet, that becomes a not so good question. Here's essentially a similar thing that the sales chapter came up with. Right, so we can check our work here. New people need to read the guidelines and go to the seniors if they have anything to ask. Right, when we have clear guidelines, we can refer the new person to it. It helps influence others in the chapter and supports a system of self-learning as well. Right, and this idea also, I think that that I think Victoria and Jocelyn brought up of putting the guidelines into the orientation. Okay, for everybody who comes in, guidelines should be part of the orientation. In fact, they might be part of the trials, right? If you actually think about it, does somebody understand how to create content for Bukit Vista? So you can say, make 10 pieces of content and tell me what is on, make 10 pieces of content that's on brand, right? That would be maybe a really good way to understand if somebody understood the brand, right, and understood the guidelines. So that could be an entrance exam, right, to get into the particular chapter. Okay, let's okay. Now that we have these expectations for the brand, this gives us a more clear picture of how we are to perpetuate. Okay, so when somebody asks questions, definitely refer them to the brand book, refer them to the guidelines, and that way the guidelines become real. They become part of this adoption process, right? So people will actually adopt it. Okay, great. I think we can safely conclude this particular topic. Let's go into the meat of what we're going to be talking about today, which is the inspection part. Let's take a look and inspect some of the content that has been created and ask ourselves, is it on brand? Okay. First, Victoria, this particular picture. Yes, tell us more about it.
Yeah, so actually, this is the picture that we have in our website. So I would say it is a hero photo that we have because it is shown at the top of our MBB page. So when people open our website, they have seen this photo particularly. But I think the problem here is it doesn't show us as a brand because yeah, I don't know. I mean, from my side, this as a hero photo, this picture doesn't show anything. I mean, if we are referring to our guideline, yes, there's a human element in that, but this human element doesn't show any human interaction or maybe our value as a property management. So I think it's
Mm.
also part of the of brand photos as well.
Okay, all right, very good point. I just had an idea, even, right? Maybe we could say add a new column here, and this is the brand book example, right? I'm not sure if this is going to apply for every type of discussion, but it might be helpful to do this. Victoria, would you be kind enough to go and screenshot the part of the brand book that highlights, let's say, the part about how we should create photos, right? So that we have a reference, and we adopt this particular idea. Let's go over to Gunny. Gunny, what do you think about this? Does this fall under our brand guidelines, or is it off guideline? What do you think?
Interesting because this photo is from my idea at first time. So I was thinking that when when people looking for the property management, I trying to apa namanya hook the experience from people after using our service. So
Ah,
I was trying to interpret if they are looking for the property management service like
mhm.
Bukit Vista, they will see a happy face,
Mm,
enjoy the apa namanya, enjoy the service face. So
okay.
I'm trying to avoid business apa namanya ya, business things, the business
Mhm.
focused things.
Okay.
So yeah, trying to be more apa ya, ya itu tadi. So the point that I was point out is the enjoyment apa ya, something like that.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have. Let's go to Jesslyn. Jesslyn, what is your understanding of how this particular photo fits or doesn't fit the brand guidelines?
After listening to what Vicky and Mas Gani had to say, I'm still in the middle in a way that I did read the brand book and it did mention that it needs the human element as well as the interactions to make it more more on brand. But at the same time, I also get what Mas Gani was trying to portray through the picture, which
Mhm.
is the result, the outcome after uh, our guests or our partners use our services.
Mhm.
But uh, perhaps as the hero picture, I think it's a good idea if we also include the human interaction that Vicky mentioned earlier.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look. Vicky, do you have the specific part in the brand book where it says something about the human interaction? I do remember seeing it, but I'm also trying to find where it was actually labeled.
Not not really human interaction, but it says about the human or people elements. I'm actually reverting to our first discussion, I think, about the photography. If you remember, in this girl, we also have discussed about the photography, and we discussed a lot about human interaction in that.
Okay, let's take a look at our photography discussion. So we have examples of here on brand. Oh, right, right. Let's take a look. This type of photography right here, which is kind of funny because I don't know where we can find it. Is it in the brand book? That photography collage? I don't think so. Yeah. Okay, so we seem to have overlapping or different sources for some of our examples here. So this is something that's, let's say, on brand, right? Um, let's see, compared to this. Okay, so we have this on one side, and we have this on another side. And this on one side, and this on another side. This on one side, this on another side.
I
Hmm.
think I get what Victoria means. Yeah. So
Hmm.
so uh, our previous brand book is supposed to be human interaction, but
Right.
our hero is just one single person that unhappy face. So
Hmm.
ideally as a hospitality company, so we yeah apa namanya how to say ya, so it's supposed to be highlight the human interaction.
I would agree. Yeah. Gunny, so what I see, like, that really gives off the Bukit Vista vibe are people doing things together, right? I think that is something that expresses the spirit of Bukit Vista, right? So this looks like people doing things together, right? Shows like, okay,
Right.
it's not clear who is Bukit Vista though in this particular photo. That could be a problem, Like, I think this is why it's necessary to have, like, let's say, a branded T-shirt, or maybe we can write some new guidelines into the book now, right? Is it clear who is Bukit Vista in this particular case and who is the partner? I mean, we know Rafik, so we know he's part of the company. But if you didn't know who Rafik was, would you know what this is? Is this two property owners? Is this a property owner with Bukit Vista? Is this two Bukit Vista people sitting in somebody's property? So there's a little bit ambiguity there, right? And if we want to show, let's say, an engagement, an interaction, then we should be able to identify the parties, right? There was one. Okay, this one's kind of interesting, right? So this one, this is kind of funny because you have Nung Lee over here with her head tilted to the side, but this one is actually kind of okay in a way. You could read the story of the photograph by saying that there's somebody telling something with the data and there's two people looking, right? So that part is a little bit more clear. And there's also a t-shirt that sort of shows who's Bukit Vista, right? So I think that one's pretty good. This one could be a little bit confusing, right? Once again, this is one of our office photos, and there's some, there's two owners, Robin and Di, and then there was the old team here as well. But once again, who's the company? Who are the owners, right? And this might be one of the issues that actually we come across on the property side photography. It's not clear who the owner is. In Gani's example, this sort of implies that this is the owner, right? But let's say if you have this photo, who is the owner, and how should the owner feel, right? So these can be a little bit ambiguous, right, for determining that. Okay, we might want to write some new guidelines then around photography then, right? So Yanni, what do you think? Should we write something in the brand book that denotes if there is a human interaction, should it be clear which human is which role, let's say, in the
Yeah,
in the photograph? Yeah.
yeah, I agree, sir. So yeah, it's a part of essential part of the photography, right? The human interaction. But also,
Right.
I was thinking, uh, I was forgot about the t-shirt projection. So yeah, I was planning, right. We have planned, right. So we want to produce a t-shirt, but I was finding the vendor to find it.
Well,
the
okay.
feedback.
Now's a good time, right? Now
Yeah,
we have a purpose, right? For actually creating the t-shirts. We know that the t-shirts help strategically to create that differentiation between who is Book of Vista and who is a property owner, right? And then what does that engagement actually look like? And how do we actually create a story that tells that particular process really well, right? So I think that
yeah.
that's actually pretty good. We realize that. So what have we done here now? Let's go back to this idea of the where is it? The Amazon mechanism. Okay, so we've inspected, and let's go to Jesslyn. Right, Jesslyn, what stage are we at now? What based on the discussion that we're having right this moment? What stage of this cycle are we in now?
I guess we're already on inspection.
Right. And what's the next stage then that we need to do? So we found something that could be added to the photography guidelines. What's the next thing we should do now?
We should probably go back to the tool to see, yeah,
Yes.
to make changes.
Yes. So we found something here, everybody, from the inspection that could be added back to the tool. So the tool looks like it was good, but maybe not great yet, right? So Victoria found something that made us look a little bit more. And during our discussion, we found something that could be enhanced, right? There should be human engagement, but then if humans are engaging, should be clear which party is represented by Bukit Vista, which party is represented by other types of users, right? And so that then becomes clear. Okay, great. So let's go ahead and maybe put that here, right? So we have a principle on photography now, right? So we have principles that photography. Oh wait, this is Jesslyn's work, right? So Jesslyn, let's go ahead and have you put it in. So photography should show some sort of human engagement if it shows people, right? If there's people in it, then it needs to show human engagement. And as a secondary clause, photography should also indicate the human engagement should be clear. Which party is which, right? Which party is the Book of Vista side and which party is the guest, the partner, or the potential employee, right? So those two sort of cases should be well illustrated. Um, I think Gani, I have an old photo from the recruiting days that we did at STP, right? Where the Book of Vista team is on one side wearing Book of Vista shirts, and the students are on the other side looking at our presentation. That I think is a very clear photo that tells the story, right? You can see who is the Book of Vista side and who is the student side. Okay, good. All right. So we have a principle that goes up into our guidelines here. Now we need to ask ourselves a strategic question here, Victoria, which is our way of organizing information, right? So we have guideline examples here, but then we have a brand book here, and then we have essentially photography standards here. Where do we need to actually update the new information that we just discovered? Do we update it in the photography standard? Do we update it in the evolutionary guideline? Where do you think is the right place to put that kind of information?
Okay, I think I want to answer it. So
Sure, got
I
it.
think we need to update the paper first.
Mhm.
We need to fix the mall first, and after that we update the website,
Okay,
the brand book.
so we update this paper, and then finally we
Yeah,
update the website. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
On paper that you was opening Bukit Vista photography, and that was for uh, properties. So
Ah.
that's not for.
Oh, right. That's not for people
Yeah,
engagement. I see. So we need to
yeah,
update this, right? This brand book.
yeah,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay. So then let's go ahead and delegate that. Okay, so Gani, who do you think is the best person to delegate this particular task, right? What do they need to do, and when should they complete it by, Gani?
Okay, so um, on the photograph on the paper side, I believe Victoria already trying to update it, but perhaps you can continue it based on your point of view, because I believe you already able to mention which part that off brand, which part that on brand. So please complete it in this week, And after that, next week, we can delegate to Nadia to update on the website.
Okay,
What do you
excellent.
think, Victoria?
All right, Victoria, would you like to write your legacy into the brand book now and have your guideline now be part of our permanent way of doing photography?
Yep, sure.
Okay,
I will update the guideline on this paper, right, on the BV brand paper.
yes,
Or
you'll update it on the BV brand paper. Wait. Let me actually understand the where it's actually written. Gani, is the BV brand book? It's on Canva first, right? And that is then
Yeah,
linked to the website, right? So Canva
yeah.
is our master document, and then does it do it automatically, or do you have to do two updates, one on Canva and then one on the website?
In the future, we want to use a website, sir.
Okay,
We want to delete the Canva.
great. So can Victoria just automatically update the website?
Yeah, okay.
All right. Does she have access to the website?
yeah, I have access to the website. Maybe I was just ask Nadia which page that I should update on that.
Okay. All right. Fantastic. Gani. So what we should actually establish is this, everybody. Should we have an internal open source culture? Does everybody know what that means? Internal open source? Okay, let's go to Jesslyn.
Uh,
Jesslyn, what does an internal open source culture mean?
I think that is a culture where internally we have a lot of information available for everyone. So in case you want to know something, you have access to it, and people will direct you to it, so you can get information that you need.
Okay, who can edit documents in an internal open source culture?
Everyone,
Yes, the answer is everybody. Who owns those documents?
the company.
Okay. True. All right. So remember, everybody, right? Spotify. I think everybody must have seen this, right? Spotify internal open source culture. So this was probably in your orientation videos, right? Because Spotify essentially does this. They have an internal open source culture, which essentially means this. Let's say there's a particular team that actually has, let's say Squad 2, right? Squad 2 actually owns a document called Document B. It's part of their code base. It's part of their internal. It's part of their guidelines, right? Let's just say B is owned by Squad 2 as part of their guidelines. Well, Team A, Squad 1, can ask Squad 2, can you go ahead and edit it, please? This is like, let's say, Victoria going to Nadia saying, hey, Nadia, you are the owner of the website. Can you go and edit the website for me? Nadia might say, yeah, sure, I have nothing else better to do. Or Nadia say, no, I can't. I'm just way too busy right now. But then Victoria can go to the website, make the changes, and then just inform Nadia, Nadia, this is the changes that I've made. If you don't like them, you can roll it back to the previous version. And then essentially Nadia has the right to veto a change. She has the right to be informed when a change has been made, and Nadia has the right to remove a change. Okay? It's a little bit like Wikipedia, which we all use. So Wikipedia, anybody you can go and you can write whatever you want on Wikipedia, as long as the previous person who wrote it agrees, as long as everybody agrees that that snippet that you put into the Wikipedia is actually factual, right? And so this is what internal open source actually means. Okay, so in this particular case, do you think it would be of benefit, Victoria, to actually practice internal open source with the website?
Yeah, I think that's a good practice, sir. I will try to do it.
Okay, let's do it because it's what makes things agile, Gani. It's what makes things fast, efficient, and light. So we don't get bottlenecks and we get stuck behind a person, right? So Vicky can go and edit the brand book. She can then say, hey, Nadia, I've edited the brand book. These are what the changes are. If you don't approve of them, then you can revert back. Let me know in the next 2 days, right? What's going to happen? So then that kind of communication culture keeps things fast, but it also keeps things respective of the owner, right? We respect the people who actually own the end asset. Okay, great. So we're learning something new too. We're learning a little bit about internal open source. And let's do this, Victoria. Let's come back next week. Let's say by the 12th, and see these changes and see your fine work in the brand book, which is awesome. Okay, great. Excellent. So let's take a look at another example here. I found this as part of our Facebook. Yeah, Gani's smiling, right? So I found this, and I found it was on brand, right? As a white background, as a pretty. I mean, there's a human in it, but are they engaging with another human? I think this is okay in that it's forgivable, right? I can understand what kind of user this is. At least I understand this is a guest. That context is pretty clear. I think the font is well chosen, the colors and the font, the text with the right font and the right colors. My only complaint is this. Does anybody else see it? Let's go to Jesslyn. Jesslyn, what could be a little bit better, maybe about this?
Maybe they should be a little bigger. Our
Correct.
website page.
This is essentially This is essentially the handle, right? They're going to find us on. So maybe, Gani, we need to understand a little bit more about the context of where this is being posted. Gani, can you tell us where this piece of content shows up?
Okay, so this content is posted on several Facebook groups, and I have one big purpose why I put it small. Okay.
What's your big purpose?
So in the Facebook groups, there are a lot of guests and a lot of sellers as well.
Mhm.
The guests prefer to book property from local owner.
Right.
So
Okay.
individual local owner that sell the property,
Right.
and they, my hypothesis is they will avoid to book on the agent, on
Right.
the company. So that's why this one I posted on release and I did account and as and make a Bukit Vista brand as and implicit as small as possible.
Okay.
Put it logo, avoid
Okay.
put it big name. So
I see.
this Nadine sell the property. I will book her. So
Okay.
they will see Nadine as an owner.
Okay, got it. Well, here's another thing. Okay, let's go with two different ideas, right? So there is essentially a marketing strategy about making it look a bit more less represented and more direct, right? So that's, let's say, your marketing strategy, and then there's a branding strategy, right? Which is, how well should somebody understand that this is part of, let's say, Bukit Vista? Do you think those two strategies are in conflict in this particular case? Is having a brand in conflict with your marketing strategy of looking more like it's direct versus represented?
I would say that on the Facebook, as because it's back again what kind of account we use.
Mhm.
If we use Nadine and this account, which is more personal, so that's different tactic, different
Right.
strategy. It will be different if we use the Bukit Vista fan page.
Oh, okay, okay.
Facebook.
So it depends on the profile that is actually representing
Yeah.
this content. Okay, let's go and bring this question to Victoria. Victoria, same question to you. Do you believe that our branding strategy and our marketing strategy might be in conflict in this particular case?
Yeah, I think if the purpose is to to not show that we are from Bukit Vista, that might be conflicting.
Yeah. Gani, I would tend to agree with Victoria, and this is why. If your end purpose is to look like this is more native, this is more like direct, then you might want to go for a sloppier look, right? You might want to go for more like a homemade look. Like if you think about, let's say, a professional meal, right? You have Michelin star quality. Why does it actually look different than, let's say, the same meal prepared on the street? Well, maybe one is presentation, garnish, the plate, the way it's being presented. The second is like, maybe the lighting. Like really fancy restaurants, they focus on how the light actually shines off the food that you're eating. And the other thing they think about is the consistency, right? Is the cut consistent? Is the cooking consistent? So these things kind of like show that this is a professionally made type of food. Whereas when you have something that's more casually made, it has all the indications of like, more casual, even a little bit sloppy, right? Like the plate is a little bit used where it looks more authentic. So in this particular case, I think you need to decide, right? You need to decide, are you going to go more with your branding, or are you going to go more with your particular marketing strategy? If you decide to go with branding, then make it branded, right? And make it look strong like Bukit Vista. But if you're going to do and make it look more homemade, then go with that, right? And make it look more homemade. I don't think it's possible in this particular case to do both at the same time, because you're trying to brand, and so it looks professional. It looks like we're a representative, but you also want to give the impression that this is direct from an owner. And an owner would never go through the trouble of doing a layout, or finding background art, or doing anything creative, right? They would just be like, blah, this is it. Blah, do you like it, right? So I think it's important to know what the difference is in this particular case. Let's try this then, Gani. Have you tried the different sort of approach? Is this approach working? Is this Facebook type post actually getting the results that you would expect?
Yes,
Okay,
I
good.
would say that this is working than just plain
Great.
plain work.
Great. Okay, so what you have now is the proof is in the pudding. The data shows the results are in the data. So what you need to do now is you need to decide what your next pivot is going to be. Is your next pivot going to be closer to something that is stronger on branding, or is your next pivot going to be closer to something that looks a little bit more unplanned and casual? Okay, so that allows you to test which branch works, because in marketing and in branding, sometimes we don't know, right? We don't know what, let's say, no, branding we always know, but in marketing, sometimes we don't know. We don't know which particular strategy works better. If you say this works better than plain, then perhaps the correct assumption is that people do prefer to actually have something that is represented, right? They prefer maybe to trust somebody who's trusted, somebody who looks polished. And if you think about it this way, right? Who are you going to trust? Somebody who wears a business suit, or somebody who wears just a t-shirt and shorts? Now, it depends on who you are, right? Some people will trust the person in a business suit more. Some people will definitely trust the person in t-shirt and shorts more. It really depends what kind of where you grew up and how you see things, what your idea of professional is. So if you've discovered that doing something a little bit more professional has actually gotten you better results, perhaps the next step is to notch it up another notch, right? And make it look more professional again, right? And see what you can do with that. Okay, so
That's very good discovery. So that's
yeah,
more related on the psychology marketing as well,
yeah.
because yeah,
You like that?
we
Okay,
like it.
here's the bigger vision, everybody. At some point, the real work of marketing will happen in this particular discussion group, right? Perhaps many times. So, in the currently marketing chapter discussions, what you actually are doing is you're having a squad type discussion. You're having a mission progress discussion. It's like a stand up, right? How much progress has been made on this mission? How much progress is left? How much progress is left? What you actually do in chapter discussion is the how, right? Not the what has been accomplished, but how do we actually go and do this thing? So this is a good discovery. Okay, so we've actually discovered quite a bit. Jesselyn, let's go ahead and put that in. Okay, we have, yeah. Whether we want to have a branded or a unbranded approach, whether we want to have a professional or more authentic approach. Okay, good. In the context of what Gani's doing, I imagine, Gani, that there's a CTA in the Facebook post, right? So you probably don't need a CTA here on the actual post, but it might be good to put it in. That's another suggestion, right? Because the Facebook, you have a caption, so you could say book now, right? Limited offer, or discount to the first 5 bookers, right? Something that gets somebody a sense of urgency to book. But that's more of a marketing principle than a copywriting principle. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and take a look at what off-brand looks like. Let's ask ourselves this question, Gani. Can this be what is this? Is this a graphic? Is this a photography? What is this an example of?
Okay, I believe this one is a graphics because
Yeah.
it's post.
Yep, I agree. Let's go to Jesselyn. Jesselyn, oh, sorry, I spoiled the pot. I should have remained a little bit more neutral. Jesselyn, what do you think it is? Is this graphic or is this something else?
Wait, I'm a little confused. We're still talking about the best value on private bedroom.
Yes, we're talking about this one. Mhm.
Oh, yeah, right. What was the question again, sir?
What type of branding element is this? Right? Is it a graphic? Is it a photo? Is it well? How should we identify it?
Uh, as a graphic?
Yep. Okay. So remember, Jesslyn, let's go ahead and then screenshot that. Okay. So what I want you to do, Jesslyn, is to screenshot it, and then you can introduce it up here in our graphic section, right? So this goes into our top three examples of graphics that are on brand. Yeah, Jesslyn?
Okay.
Okay, all right, great. So now we've established a new entry into the top three graphics that shows what on-brand graphics are. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at an entry that might not be so. You know what? Hey, I tell you what. I'm gonna move this. Yeah, I'm gonna move this up because I get kind of annoyed at having to scroll down every time. So I'm gonna try to move it up here. Whoops! Did I lose it? Did I? No! Ah, crap. Okay, sorry. Wait. Okay. I have to move this entire table, right? Okay, good. And then let me move it over here because then it's a little bit easier to, you don't have to keep on scrolling up, scroll down, scroll up, scroll down. Okay, and let's place it right over. Let's place it right over. Actually, I don't know. If I put it up here now the guidelines are hard to find, right? So, uh, okay, all right. We'll discuss this later. We'll figure this out. The orientation of this paper later, but let's just have it close by. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. Vicky, what's your thoughts here? Is this on brand or off brand?
Definitely off brand, sir.
Right. Why is it off brand? Why is it off brand, Vicky?
First, yeah, I don't think it shows anything. No human element, natural element. I would not say that it's a natural element as well. So,
Right.
but first of all, of course, it doesn't have any human element on that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's all about the about the fonts as well. I don't think that's the font that we usually use.
Right, right. Very good, very good. Okay, so well, let's go ahead and take a look at the brand book here, right? So if we're posting our properties, oh no, it's not property photo. Photographs in nature holiday spot must have human or people elements in it. Hmm? Okay, so this clearly does not. This is a picture of the Tugu in Jogja, but not much else. Okay, interesting. And what else is not quite right, Vicky?
The way they put the words on top of the photos, sir, I think.
Right. What should they put instead? What's a better maybe approach to this?
Yeah, I think it's more like a graphic design, sir. So if they want to put some words on that, maybe just put it on a white background. Like what Mas Gadi did in the previous design in the like best value one. So they
Mhm.
have the property photo in the below. So maybe if we want to do that, like just put the two good photos on the below, and then you can put the words on the top of it.
Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and Jesselyn, let's take a look at some other examples of things that are pretty solid, right? So we can actually put, let's say, text on top, but there should be kind of a background, right? If we see like over here, Bali Villa Management, and I guess yeah, Bali Villa Management is an Uluwatu Bali, right? So the overlay should be clear. There needs to be kind of like a background. Gani, here's a question actually to better understand. Should we have a gradient on top of the photo so that we have, like, let's say, a gradient background, and then you can put the text on top of the gradient? Is that still on brand?
Uh, we haven't decided yet, sir. But that's not apa ya? That's not good apa namanya? Good practice.
Oh no,
So
it's
the
not good practice. Okay.
not good practice. Good practice is you have to we have to have a background uh, in the back of the words. So the words supposed to be the pop up.
Got it. Got it. Okay. All right. Very good. So let's go ahead and take a look at what else we can do better here. So the words need to pop up, and then what else? What else? Do we need that many words, Gunny? Do we need a hierarchy of words? Like, should they all be the same size, or should certain words be bigger to capture attention, and then other words are more like supporting words?
Okay. So that's let's jump into more technical part yesterday. So
Yeah.
what 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 font we use, what size, where's the location? I mean, is it on the top right or where? So
Right.
it's into more technical, and perhaps I can provide it. So it's not uh, discussable. I mean, because
I see.
it's jump into the
Okay.
yeah,
All right. Let's go ahead and do this, Jesslyn. So, Jesslyn, could you please take a screenshot of this? And let's go to Jesslyn again. What type of branding element is this?
Before I answer that, I want to ask, where is this picture from? Yeah,
Oh,
because I couldn't immediately
I'll show
think
you where
of
this
it.
picture's from. So this picture I got out of the Canva. It's under recent design, and it was under the. I think this is a post from the community management group, right? It was community sharing session, and this was the post community sharing session. And Ghani's like horrified, right? He's like, "What did they do?" So none of these are actually really on brand, right? They're sort of all off brand. That's not a Bukit Vista color. Or is it? Is that even a Bukit Vista color?
no.
Not really. Yeah. No. Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's just kind of messy, right? It doesn't have the correct. So that's where I got it, Jesslyn.
Okay. Uh, Now I'm even more confused. I at first I thought it was a presentation, but
Oh, it is a presentation.
looking at the
Oh, wait, it is
yeah,
a presentation. It's like a video. What do you call this? By the way, I'm not even sure. What? Uh,
but looking at the size of it, it looks like a post.
yeah, like an Instagram post, right? Like an Instagram Reels
Yeah.
or something.
So community created it, sir, and
I think
posted
so.
on Facebook.
I think so. Yeah. Okay. So hey, this is a new one, everybody. We need to get the link here. Let's. I didn't even know that was. I thought it was a very good. You know, this is why we have more people here, Justin. You discovered something. What did you discover, Justin?
Yeah, I
What?
think it's more like a post now.
Yeah, it's like a post, right? So let me see if I can actually import it over here. Can I download it? MP4. Okay, I'm gonna try to download it. And this is great. This is fun, everyone. Now we get a whole new category. All right. Oh my God, it's huge. What? Is it really that big?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
sir.
usually.
Okay, then I can't really put it in Canva, right? I can't put it in a Dropbox. That would diminish it. So I
Just
don't know that.
click it's okay.
But what I want is I want a GIF. I want a GIF so
Oh,
that we can take a look at it, and then it becomes part of our. Let me see if I can have it. No, it doesn't. It doesn't load it. Yeah. No dice.
Maybe just download the specific page. I
Can I just
don't know if
download the
that works.
specific page? Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me how I should do that.
From the download button, I think we have an option for the pages.
GIF.
Wait, go back. Yeah, right.
Okay.
Then
and
we
then
can choose the
select
pages
click.
as well.
Wait.
It's a huge GIF.
No. Cancel again, sir, please.
Okay, cancel.
And then click download and select. Yeah, that's div, and then after that, select
Yeah.
pages.
Oh,
So just
okay. Let's just page 1, page 2. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Hopefully that's a little bit better. Okay. So while the GIF downloads, hey, Jesslyn, good point. Now, what have we done now? What have you just discovered?
Now we have a new category for the guideline.
Yeah, I think we found a new category for the guidelines now. So now we have I don't know, what do you want to call it, Jesslyn?
I'm not sure because usually a post will be called a post, but then a video for a post is also called a video. So
Okay, let's go over to Ghani. Ghani, what is
yeah.
this? How would you classify this?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay,
It's a new things for me.
let's go to Vicky. Vicky, what would you categorize this as?
I'm actually thinking about motion graphics, sir.
Animation, right?
Yeah, anime.
Yeah, motion graphic. Okay, let's go ahead and put that in. So let's go to Vicky. Vicky, can you introduce a new row on the guidelines, Vicky? I'm splitting between Vicky and Jocelyn now. So Vicky, could you put a new row right above graphic art and call it either motion graphics or animations, right? And then what we can do is we can copy this structure again, right? And we can put this in as a off-brand motion graphic, right? So this goes into the partner category, and I hope I downloaded this already. Let's see if it is finished downloading. Jiffy. No, that's a different Jiffy. Okay, let's see if I'm. Where did it go? Where did it go? Okay, I will find it. I will close this, and I will motion graphics. Okay, so off-brand motion graphics goes here. And let me see. Date added. What? Teen Wolf? No. Okay. Too many of these funny things here. Downloads. Where did it go? What's it even called? Give me a second. I'm gonna have to be an idiot and do it again. Okay. So, 1, 2, done. Download. Post event CSS. Okay. Where's the default download? Okay. Okay. Save.
Oh, I got it, sir. Because if you download more than 2 slides, it will become a zip.
Oh.
So on your folder, you have to extract it first.
Oh, I have to extract it. Okay. All right. Let's see.
So on the download,
I will extract it. Oh, here it is. 142 megabytes. All
yeah,
right.
that's why I have a problem when I post it on all hands.
Oh wow. Okay, let me see if that can even if that even works, everyone, right? Okay, let's see. Nope. Too big. Okay. Defeated. All right. So look, I guess what we have to do is this then, everybody, right? We're getting a little bit stuck on the technical aspect of it. But what I think we can do, Jesselyn, is this. Jesselyn, would you be able to screenshot this screenshot and post it in the motion graphics? What I'll do is I will go ahead and connect the link to it so people can look at it and see what it looks like if they want. Okay. Once Jesselyn has posted the actual just screenshot of the motion graphic, and then this can be an example of what not to do. Okay, great. Once Jesselyn has that up, just let me know and I'll copy the link over. Yeah. Or actually, wait, Jesselyn, why don't I just delegate to you? Here's the link to that motion graphic. Okay, and you can go ahead and take the screenshot, put it in, and then give it a link so that anybody who wants to see the motion graphic can see it. All right, great. Off-brand stuff. Let's go ahead and take a look at Gunny. All right. Oh, cool. Gunny, what is this?
Yeah, that's I just realized that what's Vicky mentioned in the beginning of the apa namanya hero photo, it's supposed to be like this, right? So
Right.
direction, which one the Bukit Vista member, which one the property owner. So
Right. Cool, right?
maybe yeah.
Okay. So this is great then. This is exactly what on-brand photography should actually look like. And Vicky, would these be good examples that you can put in the brand book?
Yeah, I think that's good, very good examples, especially for the maybe partner side, because we don't really have like maybe guidelines for the photography for the partners.
Okay, very good. Okay, great. I think we're running out of time right now, but there's still a bit more stuff, right? But let's do this. So we've established essentially what are let's see, we've established some conclusions here. So let's okay. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and populate this. So we've established guidelines today for what behavior should be within the chapter. Okay. So let's go ahead and anchor this at the very top. This is a top level. Like anybody who comes into this group should know what the expectations are for new people and what the expectations for senior people are. So this can be pinned to the top of our discussion. We've covered some of this, right? And let's give this another rotation for next week. So for next week, let's go ahead and do the same thing, everybody, right? October, today's date, October, I know it's 6th in Indonesia, it's 5th over here. But let's go ahead and do it again. Find 2 pieces of on-brand and off-brand work, not around photography, but let's say this time around copywriting. Okay. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the inspection wheel another time. So we're going to inspect and take a look at our copywriting and see, is there copywriting that's on brand? Is there copywriting that's off brand? And repopulate our guideline charts from that. Okay, so this is what we do every week. Let's get some quick feedback for how effective this sort of format is for a chapter type discussion. Let's go to Jesslyn. Jesslyn, how effective is this for you to understand how to create your content and create your particular pieces that you want to use for marketing?
I think this is great, sir, especially because I've made the mistakes before until Mas Gani introduced me to the brand book. So yeah, this is all the information, and it's great because now I have something to refer to before I post something.
Okay, is this more useful than, let's say, the previous chapter type discussions?
Wait, which chapter type discussion
is this
are
more
we talking
useful
about?
than, let's say, the marketing chapter sort of meeting that we have?
When I'm creating content, definitely, because usually there we talk about more like the strategy, right? But here, I actually know how to make it by myself.
Okay, all right. So Gani, what do you think about that? Is this, I mean, we need to probably have both, right? One is like, the strategy, how close we're achieving our goals. But the other is, what is our method, right? What do we need to actually do? And is our method correct? What do you think about this? Is this something that is effective in understanding how to do things?
Yeah, it is effective, sir. So it's keep it separate. One meeting is discuss about the whole things and in other meeting is very very specific, and we discuss into technical levels, and then find out why.
Okay, very good, excellent. Thank you, Gani. Let's go to Vicky. Vicky, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's very effective too, sir. So now our job is how to distribute this guideline to other chapter as well, because mostly they are the one who makes the mistakes, and we obviously don't want to create another same mistake as well.
Excellent. All right, so let's do this on top of what we said. Can we do this too? Bring one person from an awareness chapter squad, right? From, let's say, from another squad, right? Let's say PR, or I don't know, guest. Well, does everyone here work on guest funnel, Gani? Or some people work on guest, some people work on partner?
Vicky on the partner and Justin on the guest.
Okay.
But my concern is how to invite the community chapter as well, because that Sanlo's work is very very messy, and I don't like it.
Okay, great. Okay, so people who are working on awareness, community, PR, and maybe HAR too, right? Because we do actually publish content that goes out to guests. We publish content that goes out to employees. We publish content that goes out to our partners. So why don't we all invite one person from these different groups to come and actually be part of this meeting so that they start understanding how to do it. Now, we cannot always be the patrol, right? They need to start inspecting their own work and understanding if their own work is brand compliant. But what we do have is we have some understanding. We built a house now, everybody. So we built essentially like a house. Now people can come into the house, they can learn how to behave. And when they go back to their own homes, they will bring that culture, hopefully with them, to their own squads, right, in particular. So this is exactly what we need to do as a chapter, right? So a chapter is actually the people who all work on a specific type of function, which is, let's say, producing content, producing awareness, right? Awareness objectives. So by unifying this chapter, this is how we actually then create unified approach, unified things. Before, we call these things chapters, right? But they were actually squads, Gani, right? They were actually squads, because squads work on a mission, right? The mission to positively transform guests and inspire delight through hospitality innovations. The mission to positively transform partners and inspire delight through hospitality innovations, right? So those are different missions. But now the chapter then is looking at what skill sets is common and necessary across all the different squads in order to achieve our missions. So, Gani, everyone, we apologize for that. That's a leadership mistake that we made a while back, but now it's a little bit more clear. All right, thank you everybody for coming in. Hopefully that was inspired delight discussion. And also want to say thank you. This week has been a little bit difficult because of payday and everything, and the Monterey trip kind of sort of squeezed my time schedule as well. But hopefully, I was really happy to see everybody, and let's see twice as many people next week so that we make sure that everybody understands this. Okay. All right. Great. Have a good day, everyone, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Thank you.